Hello and welcome to Take 10. I'm Jennifer Johnson. With us in the studio today is Laura Newton. Laura is the supervisor of the MCPS School Counseling Services Unit. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So the School Counseling Services Unit encompasses all the school counselors in all the levels of the schools, correct?
That's right. It includes elementary, middle school, and high schools, and we also supervise CCICs, which is the College and Career Information Coordinators.
How many counselors do you have throughout the school system?
I think it's over 480.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Plus the CCICs, which are about 25.
So a lot of people you're supervising.
Right.
Let's talk about school counselors.
Okay.
Their primary role is what?
It varies from school to school and from level to level because the program is comprehensive. It has to be age appropriate. So whatever an elementary school counselor does will be different than the middle school and the high school. The counseling program is preventive in nature. So we want to make sure that in the elementary schools we are teaching kids, interpersonal skills, decision making, character education. We want them to gain the skills that are going to help them make the right decisions in life, academically and personally. In the middle schools and in the high schools, you start making a transition more into college and career. And so you're going to see that we're making a 6-year plan in the middle school so that kids are starting to think about, my decisions academically have a consequence later on, not only in high school, but then after high school. And obviously when they get to high school, you know that everything that they take and is,
right,
is going to have a repercussion.
Leads to somewhere.
Exactly. What are they going to do after they graduate? So you will see a variance between the counselors from each grade level.
In the elementary schools, the counselors, it's not so much course selection and all that. It's more just guiding the children through the process of elementary school. Is that true? And being there to, be a sounding board if there are troubles or special needs, things like that?
There's a lot of classroom lessons, guidance lessons, and so they go to each grade level and they talk with the students and they teach them about decision making, about interpersonal skills, about how to get along and what is that their actions have consequences, about positive self-esteem and having resiliency skills. Also, you see a lot of the counselors do a lot of the CPS, the collaborative, problem solving. Kids need special needs. What services we might provide. There's a lot of group counseling that takes place. So there's a lot of things in the elementary counselor.
And then the middle school, I found with my kids when they got into the counselors really stepped in to say, we think this is the appropriate course for you to take in terms of mathematics and in terms of foreign languages, or they were starting to guide them toward high school.
Then you have all the assessments, and so the counselors start, reviewing the assessment of the students and see where they are academically, and trying to guide them as to, are they living to their potential? Can they be taking more challenging courses, or do they need support in certain areas? And start thinking about the future. What is it that you like? What do you want to do? So that when they come to high school and graduation, they're ready to make those decisions.
Right, and I have to tell you, as a parent, I was so surprised when my children were freshmen, because it looked like they were, they were given these books, I guess in 8th grade, to pick out their courses. Looked like they were going to college. I mean, this is what I filled out going to college, not that many years ago, and I was surprised that this was the new way of high school.
There's so many course selections.
So many courses.
And it's hard for the students, you can imagine, and the parents want to be a part of this decision making, but it's hard. So it's important that they talk to the counselors and, and ask questions so that they can make the right choices.
Right, because I mean, if parents aren't, there yet, be prepared to get this booklet and to go through, lots of pages, lots of choices, and then you have this whole elective thing.
Right. The important thing is they do have evening nights, where the parents can go and receive more information. And I think it's so important for parents to be engaged throughout the whole process. And that's what you were referring to, that it is important for the student to talk to the counselor, but it's important for the parents to get involved as well. And counselors work very closely with the parents, and that's important for them to know. And the college and career centers are places where parents can go after hours and get information about different choices, interest inventories, personality inventories, scholarship information when they start thinking about applying for colleges. So, you know, it is important for the parents to be a part of the student's education.
In the high schools, does a counselor meet with each individual student as they're plotting their course selection? Do they meet with one-on-one with each kid?
Yes.
They do, okay. And so they really get a feel for what the child excels in and maybe not as, you know, not excels in, not as good in, and then try to guide the appropriate courses to eventually get to the appropriate career. Is that a fair way of putting it?
Yeah, I want to say that the counselor wants to build a personal relationship with the student, because and not to take away the academic part, but I think that many of the students forget that a counselor can also help them with personal issues,
right,
or, you know, relationship. And so when you talk about making decisions in in courses, it is that personal relationship that is established early on that allows the students to talk freely with the counselor and say, you know, I'm struggling with this, or I'm having problems with this. I don't feel so strong in math. I don't feel like,
right,
you know, so that the decision making is not just clear cut, you know, this course is good for you. It's more like a building that relationship between the counselor and the student.
And I think that's important for parents to realize, because a lot of times we're like, well, you're good at this and you're good at that, but the kid's the one in the classroom, and they may not feel like they're particularly good at that, and
right,
they're better at something else. So if they have a good relationship with a counselor, that, you know, that can benefit them.
That's right.
What, in terms of college counseling, when does that kick in, and you know, steering children to looking, you know, forward to college?
Well, it should start early on as they are freshmen, not in the sense that you're picking colleges in the 9th grade,
right,
but I think that a student needs to understand their strength, you know, what areas they're interested in, what their abilities are, what is their personality, and start thinking in terms, you know, what is it that I like to do? And then as they do that, they select maybe courses that are related to their interest. That's why, you know, they have so many electives, because if someone is interested in engineering, maybe they can explore that early on. And then as they progress, then you start selecting what colleges might have majors in that area. And then from the colleges, you start saying, well, you know, is it something, do I want to be far away from home? Do I want to be near? Do I like to be in a small school? Do I like to be in a larger school? Do I want to participate in extracurricular activities? Do I want to play the sport? And so you start adding other things, and also the financial piece, because a student may have ideas of, you know, I want to be in California, well,
right,
for my family, having fun, and the family may not be ready to make that jump.
right.
And so then we start talking about financial needs.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because the economy is, you know, is struggling, and college is incredibly expensive. So how much of the counselor's job lately has become about how to afford college and how your parents can make this happen?
Well, I think it's a matter of education. I think that the parents need to be aware that they need to know what are their ability to pay, and then we need to provide education as to scholarships, right, and, you know, what is involved in filling out the FAFSA form, so that they make educated choices when it comes to going to school.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that all schools have financial aid night. And so regardless of what school they're in, they need to find out from the College and Career Center when is that night, and then they go through all the steps and what is needed in that process.
I was going to ask you that. Do the counselors reach out to the parents? Because, you know, as a parent of a high schooler, you start getting letters from colleges, and again, we probably get 10 to 20 a week.
Right, right.
And you're inundated with colleges from all over the country, and you're overwhelmed. Do you have courses or seminars for parents to guide them, your unit?
Right. Well, it's the College and Career Center that has those evenings, and yes, we do. So it is important that the parents look in their websites, the school website, and find out when they're coming in, so that they can get more information.
And they can also contact the child's counselor to
right,
also sit down. Yeah, that's the other thing parents should know. They can come in and sit down with the counselor.
Anytime. They should not walk in, even though that
right,
they have every right to do that. But it doesn't, you know, but because they're so busy,
right,
they might be that they come in and they're not available. So it's always good to call ahead of time to make sure that they're going to be available.
Okay, very good. Laura, you're here for the families.
Yes.
Okay. Laura Newton, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. Remember to visit us on the web at the link on your screen. I'm Jennifer Johnson. Join us next time here on Take 10.